So we've gotten a lot of questions about our 22nd Amendment video that we posted last week, and one of the questions seemed to center around the wording of the 22nd Amendment, which says that a person cannot be elected more than twice to the office of President of the United States. A lot of you have asked, essentially, well, how else can someone become president? The Constitution provides 3 ways that someone can become president, and the wording is consistent throughout the Constitution each time. The first is to be elected, by which we mean that the Electoral College votes for that president. If you forget about the Electoral College, that's where when you go to the polls, you're actually voting for an elector who goes and votes for the President of the United States. You're voting for someone who's promised to cast their vote for the candidate you like. So on your ballot, you may check off Joe Biden or Donald Trump or Kamala Harris or whoever it is, but who you're actually voting for is an elector, Bob Smith, who lives down the street from you, who has said, if I'm elected as an elector, I will vote for the candidate that you've chosen. So the first way to become president under our Constitution is to be elected by that electoral college that gathers toward the end of the year after the general election in November and votes for president. The second is to be chosen president by the House of Representatives. This has happened only twice in our history. If we have a tie, that is possible. If it's 269 to 269 electoral votes at the end of the election and we don't have a winner, the House of Representatives chooses the president, and that's the term the Constitution uses throughout. It chooses the president. They don't elect him. He hasn't been elected. The Electoral College couldn't make the election, so now the House chooses that individual. In some situations where multiple candidates have run in the past and no one got a majority, maybe the votes got split. In our case, we can still have a split 50-50. As a result, that would mean that the House has to choose. The third way a president can become president is they become president. If that sounds obvious, what we're talking about is when someone in the line of succession, the vice president, the Speaker of the House, somebody else becomes president. And that language is used in the 25th Amendment, Section 1, when it describes how someone becomes president. There's sort of a fourth way, which is that someone can be the acting president, capital A, capital P, the acting president, and that's under the 25th Amendment, Section 3 or 4. That language was originally used as well in Article 2 of the Constitution. The 22nd Amendment itself seems to keep these distinctions in mind when it says that someone who can only be elected president once if they have acted as president or held the office of president for a term that somebody else was elected to. But despite the fact that it says that, it doesn't do it the other way around. It says if you have been held the office or been president through some other way, you can only be elected once if it would exceed 10 years for you to be elected a second time. It doesn't deal with a situation where you're elected and then go the other way around to hold the office. So hopefully that helps as you think about this important amendment.